architecture is the architecture of the heart. So it's not just temples. It's not just homes. This in itself is a technology to beautify things. It's the fractalization of matter. So then the beautification of things increases the magnification of things. It is a free energy source, the beautification of things.
This is the Bliss Realm podcast, where every moment is honored as sacred. I'm your host, Skylar Temple Singer, and I'm having conversations with leaders, healers, the mystics, and so many more as we get curious about how to live a bliss-filled life simply through the everyday without bypassing our sadness or other feelings. We're diving deep into the great esoteric cosmos and even deeper into the flesh and feelings of what it truly means to be human so that we can live more harmoniously on this planet and within ourselves. So let's step into this portal together and explore the Bliss Realm. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Bliss Realm podcast. This is episode 3, Heartkitek, Building the New Earth with Helios. So today I'm talking to my good friend Helios that I know from Costa Rica. He is sharing how he lives from the center of his own heart vortex as his own creation of a Heartkitek. So this is a way to literally create the world that you desire to live in, and not just to first go from that place of building it on your inner by the way that he talks of beauty being a free energy source, but to also ripple that out into your outer to build everything around you that you really desire, that you have that capacity to remember your ancient truth that we've always been a part of being able to build and create anything that we want. We as humans have this capability. And that's what I deeply feel inspired by from listening to and being a part of this conversation with Helios. He's talking about architecture through language, geometry, nature, your thoughts. And he talks about the architecture of nature in such a way that it kind of almost instantly enlightens you. We're talking about magnetics as a form of manifestation, explained from the literal physical level, the language of the soul, and he's also starting off this episode with a short prayer. So please tune in for that. In the beginning, this man is a genius in his own right, and I'm so honored to know him and to have had a chance to record this episode with him and to share it all with you. So please enjoy this portal of the Heartkitek as we dance in the Bliss Realm.
Welcome. Breathing in the gratitude for life, for this beautiful complexity of simplicity that lives in the now moment, where everything is created and everything is living simultaneously within all the realms, this never-ending moment, the balance point. Grateful for all the beautiful colors, all the beautiful materials and different elements that are able to be expressed into this now moment, creating the full spectrum of life and realities. Grateful for the elements of fire, air, the water, for the earth, for all the directions that are able to hold this. Grateful for the breath, so that we can tap in to our inner self, to our inspiration, to a liveliness in this beautiful moment. So thank you, Skylar, and thank you for opening the space, for creating this beautiful portal. So I'm really grateful.
Aho. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
So, fam, I want to tell you about Helios from my perspective. The best way that I can describe Helios is that he is an alchemist in all of the ways that I can possibly conceive. He's an artist, a creator, a community leader, a devoted partner to his beloved, who I love, papa to 3 beautiful puppies, a musician, a retreat leader, and so many more things. Just an incredible human being. We met up in the mountains of Costa Rica at a community that I call home, that he is a steward to, called Be Home. And the first time that I was there, actually, the first time I was ever there was this April for a Passover dinner. But it was like a hippie Passover. And we were all surrounded around this fire and singing the songs. And I first saw Helios tending to the fire. What I noticed was that he was just like in the fire, no problem. Like I think anybody else would have been burned. And I could just see this, like, really, I could see your relationship with the fire and with the elements and the transmuting of the wood, while being aware of everything that's happening in the space. And so that was how I first witnessed Helios, as being, of service to the community. And then I also witnessed him in his integration as he was giving a retreat, serving medicine and just and the heart medicine, experiencing the jungles of Costa Rica, as a friend and I gave his group a sound healing for their integration. And I just saw like all this love and beauty in your eyes. And then I got to see you play guitar. And, that was me seeing Helios in action in this high season in Costa Rica, when there are like 30 people or more coming in for Shabbat every week, and different events that we're having. And then this time around in October of this year, it's now the rainy season, and I came back to Be Home. And this time I got to hang out with just Helios and Talia, his partner.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was the best. It was so amazing. And yeah, what a gift, because I mean, it's really a blessing to see how you were in your leadership there during the high season, but then also to get to know you one-on-one, and to see how you're still in service to the community when there aren't as many people coming through during the rainy season. One of those things that I experienced was the day when Talia and I painted signs for the different cabins to help, create more beauty and love in the space. And as we were doing that, you were literally out in the rain with headphones on, shoveling dirt, getting after it, making new stairways and pathways. And I don't have the right terms for this, but you were like shaving down and preparing this whole giant tree basically into, what's going to become a table.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure maybe that is more developed in your home now, but like I'm like, oh, look at me, I painted this beautiful sign today. And then you come up with this whole ass table. You've been working in the rain all day long. And like, what that really showed me and inspired me to feel into is how we truly take action to create the world that we want to live in. It's, I believe that it really starts within, because what your inner landscape is going to reflect the outer. But I see you so deeply anchored in like your Helios being, it's like you're the center of your own universe, and you're creating what you want to see in this world and sharing the light with everybody as you do it. So yeah, I have so much gratitude and like love and excitement being your friend and your soul family. And I just want to, thank you for what you do. And shine that light on who you are.
Thank you so much. Wow, Skylar, you're so beautiful. The way words are coming out of your beingness, and I'm so touched by these words. And yes, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me. Yeah, it's been a thing, you know, it's been a thing to be this shining, because my name is also part of this shining, this being the center, and being the creator of my reality. And to be seen is always feels good. To have us continue that work, that shininess, the devotional aspect of life, of creation. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about being the center. Sometimes I kind of put into analogy, or to give an image of what is the personality or the character trait, or the archetype of the center point of the vortex. How would this being would be represented physically if it was to be a mythology or an image? The center point cannot say you can't pass, or this energy, no, you're not able to pass through here, because everything has to pass through the center in order to be a whole vortex field. There's not a point of the field that doesn't go through the center. So what is the personality trait of this being? And so from there, it becomes the wholeness of thing. It's so small, and yet there's everything through it. Then it becomes infinitely big, because then there's everything in it. Then it widens the perspective of things and of life. And what I constantly do is to create my reality. Is to create my reality in the now present moment of being, because we are all being part of this creation, as we don't need to do anything, like we're all in it. And yet there's always in the now an opportunity to enhance the whole experience of the whole experience, if you know what I mean, the all that is. To and by that is to just share to share an extra kind of frequency. It's and the doing something creates that extra spark of magnetism or electricity in the body, and so then it resonates into the field. And so it's to be constantly having a relationship to my reality, discussing, having this flow of I'm creating beauty, I'm beautifying, I'm constantly not kind of relying on the easiness, or whatever situation I'm at, I will be this force of creation that will care for and beautify or rebuild. And so it goes with all the aspects. So it as much as I can put myself in that position, this is one of the roles I came here to embody and to share, to remember the power that we have as creators, as architects. But as I call it, Heartkitek. This is Heartkitekture. My business is called Kingtech Heartkitekture. It's the heart energy, the heart, the key. The key is the chi, is the energy. So the heart energy that creates technology. and that is a technology also. And so by utilizing these codes of now we're not seeing things from a perspective of, oh, it's just a building or it's just this, everything that we create is a pathway for divine expression, a pathway, the soul to the matter, because everything starts in the spiritual realm. It starts in this frequency, this pool of frequency, and so we utilize this life force energy and to receive messages in order to live in an environment that is conducive to a state of being, a state of frequency that is elevating our soul and spirit. So architecture is the architecture of the heart. So it's not just temples. It's not just homes, which we call temple homes. We have the knowledge and we also have the really deep feeling that our temples, our homes is one of the most sacred place to be. And so to have the closest that is who represents the womb that we are in. So our homes is the closest as a womb that we inhabit, then to make this a very special place and to treat them as also a form of organic technology. It's since it is connected to the earth, to this being that we are on. And so to these ancient temples that we see everywhere, these are technologies and they come from a different civilization, a different consciousness, a consciousness that wanted to elevate. Since we see there's so much detail put into, there's so much attention to details and different, to beautify things and to add extra material to beautify things, to physically by the eye also stimulate. And by doing that, this in itself is a technology to beautify things. Because as soon as there's more, all these sculptures that you see on these beautiful temples and these are, it's the fractalization of matter. So then there's more surface of a material when there's different cuts and sculpted pieces. So there's more surface of material. So then there's more like the fractalization of things. So then it resonates, the material, the shape of that resonates into the atmosphere, into the frequency. So that creates in itself magnetic fields. So then the beautification of things increases the magnification of things. So then it increases the energy. So then it's almost becomes, it is a free energy source, the beautification of things. So to constantly be in an environment, in a state of beautificating things, to beautify things, to add beauty, to beauticize. You can call it however you want, because words are worlds, and you have also the opportunity to create any type of sound that you desire. This is a form of Heartkitekture. So sound is also, let's say for some people, can be material, some sort of material that we are given to work with and that are pre-made by a specific entity. So that's what certain languages are. So these are also construct and geometry. So this is a form of architecture. So then when you understand, and overstand the differences in words and also geometry, and how the geometry relates to everything that we perceive and see, then you realize that what are the real lies. Because you can see with your real eyes. So that's one part of this. A part of what architecture is, and
Wow.
yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep because it's easy, it's simple, and yet it's so beyond the depth of it's just the beginning of what magic is, of what the potential of living in pure magic frequency. Because by creating in that way and by also building in that way, by building in not only planning in that way, because if you plan a certain way and then you create and buy certain materials, then this is a certain frequency that you'll be able to bring forth. And yet if you design it from the inception point with the heart, so with only intention, and then to receive the information, the download in an artistic expression, in a form of artistic expression without limiting the possibilities, then you receive way more information and way more possibilities of achieving a godlike temple, which, I mean, this is the pathway of just allowing the process with expression.
I want to reflect on what you're sharing before I let you continue, because I'm already taking so many amazing notes, but like you so effortlessly tap into everything I already wanted to talk to you about, which is, how I know that you're tapped in, and also that we're connected through like the heart, through the architecture. And one of my questions for you was like, what is the new earth and how do we build it? And you're answering it. It's truly constructing your reality in every single possible facet that you can by being connected at the center point of the vortex. And then it's like, it's kind of, it is that difference between, okay, it's all one. And then like I take the one from that center point of the heart and you fractalize it, like you said, so that, wow, now I see it from these different angles. And I really appreciate hearing what your experience is, because it's not just, I think a lot of times when we go into spirituality, it feels like this make-believe thing. And when we go into creating our lives, it feels like it can just be this thing based off of belief. And in a lot of ways it is, but when you express like the reality of when we beautify, we're creating a technology, we're using the magnetics of beauty, which is this free energy source to create. And that comes into our language, that comes into our geometry, it comes into everything that we're doing. And to be in that force of what you said, I am beautifying, I'm creating beauty. I will be this force of creation, checking in with yourself in every place. That's what it is. And, in our lives, sometimes it takes a minute. Like we experience all of reality and step by step for a reason. We can experience it all at once. And then we also get to feel it breath by breath. And so I find that for myself, as I develop on my journey, I just keep discovering these things. It's like, oh yeah, I have sovereignty in that. I get to put beauty into that. This is mine. I'm creating it. So
Exactly.
to feel how completely in that you are within the center of your Helios is absolutely incredible. And I see, yeah, how you're able to build. So I think what I want to ask is like, when you come to that inception point of coming from the heart of what you want to build, can you take me a little bit like through that process of what it feels like to create your dream God temple, the womb space, or any kind of Heartkitekture space that you vision into? What does that kind of look like from the inception to the blueprint to the build to the materials?
Yeah, it's really playing with with the energy and that is already here. It's what we live in. So to come back a little bit to beautifying things is like a tree growing a branch and growing a leaf and then growing a flower, a bloom, and then a flower. This is an architecture that is creating patterns into the reality, and then the sun, and then it connects to the sun, and then the suns approve it and is loving on it because it's beauty, it's reflecting. Then it creates, it generates a life form in itself, which are trees and different plants. So everything becomes alive when we create and when we beautify. So it's always this expression of the soul, of creating from the soul, from the heart space. And so the inception point of the conception point of an idea or a creation is almost like there's none, because I am already in the quantum field, in the astral, already from another world where everything is already shifted, is already in the whole design and the whole architecture that is to come. Because that's how you bring forth something, is that you live in that reality, in the never ending now, which you're able then to bring it forth on the physical plane.
Mm-hmm.
So then it requires a lot of mental and physical strength, and also like spiritual strength, because everything starts in the spiritual realm. So when tuning into an intention, we allow that intention to take place, to have its place in this reality. And so from that, if the intention is of a very vast amount of information and detail, like for example, a whole world, my intention years, centuries, millennia ago or seconds ago were to bring forth a complete world that is whole, that is harmonious, because a whole comes with everything. It's not a piece. It's not a piece of something. It's a whole, wholeness. And so a whole world has everything already in it. And because things are created from the center point, and then this magnetic field, this torus field, emanates around it, and that means then a world, its totality goes through the center, and the center is infinitely small. So then an intention is very small in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, And in the spiritual realm, it can be very vast and powerful and big. So then to create, so for my beingness, how I'm able to also tap in and to create and to bring forth different frequencies within my way of seeing and building things, is that my intention is to bring forth a world that is in between, that hasn't been brought forth yet, in between the geometries that has been that brought forth into this reality. So then it allows, it's a very powerful source of sovereignty. It's a sovereignty discipline. It's also trusting that the sovereignty of your soul, of their expression, and the royalty of it, the divineness aspect in of this sovereignty, in the aesthetic form of the sovereignty, will create a world that is beyond our imagination, because we're dealing with the very powers of creation itself, and at a emotional level and a spiritual level, at frequency level, vibration level, and then in the matter level, in the physical level. So, and then it most of the time it comes through also by drawing. So having visions, and not even vision of precise things, but again, playing with the intention, and the intention of creating whatever I want to know where I'm at in my creation process. So this is also like a thing that, you know, I mean, it's not something that I really generally express, but if I create, I'm going to want to know where I'm at in the desired intention, and then bringing forth, let's say, a visual aspect of this desired intention. So if I want to bring forth a temple, a specific type of frequency, for us to live in, to create, I will have the intention of creating in the most pure and sovereign and royal self. So then when I, let's say, plan it or let it release, let it be expressed on the paper with paint or pencil, then I'm not attached to anything that happens there. And sometimes what happens is that I draw, and it's like nothing of what I want to, what is supposed to be the intention. It's like, it's complete art form, complete letting go of, and yet holding an intention and trusting in that intention. So then at some point things come together. It can be maybe after a month or a couple of weeks of expressing an intention on paper as art. And then as a blueprint as well, a blueprint of a creation of something to create, to bring forth into this reality. And then at some point there will be a spark of inspiration that will, from what has been created and released, will bring forth the original idea or intention more in the forefront. And so that's how I discover the messages from my soul, or from what needs to be created at the highest level. So then I don't command to do so. I let my skills and my vision and my imagination bring me there with my intention. So I let the intention speak for itself, and then the skill in the process to reveal what is needed, what is wanting to be expressed.
Yeah, that's the key, really, is like that. I was just about to ask it. You're letting go of the need to do in that.
Yes.
Like you said, I don't command it to come forth. I just you basically connect to the intention in the heart. And that is, if you set the magnetics in motion, then that is how it will come to be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I like what you say, that set the magnetics in motion. So every time that you are someone is in a process of creation, of beautifying, is enhancing the magnetic spin on your being, on your beingness, on your soul. So then the more you go through these processes and create processes for yourself, then you will be more magnetic. It's a physical thing that happens, that then when you create something, you have more of a spin to it. So then by allowing this magnetic spin to occur with let's say a brush or a pencil in my hand, now I translate it into imagery or emotions, or like something more materialistic. And that's that, letting that magnetic spin, letting it go, trusting your magnetic flow. So for some people, they don't have such a magnetic flow. Their magnetic flow, exactly. I mean, they have, everyone has, it's kind of a rule. It's like you don't have a choice. But it's for a lot of people, they haven't tapped into the potency and of this magnetic field, and why is it important or useful to. So then when you trust your magnetic field, you're allowed to create on a deeper level. Like you can see, you allow process to happen, and then you get to see the result of it, and really be happy and be proud.
I'm curious, like, where does electricity come in for you? Because we are electromagnetic beings as well.
Yeah, well, for me, it comes through the soul, and it comes through the soul. But so what I would say is the soul is the bottom of your feet. And the soul doesn't come from up to down. It actually comes from bottom up. Yeah. So it comes from being grounded. It goes through your soul first. That's why it's called the soul, because that's where we're always in contact with our soul. If we're grounded, we're always contact with nature, which is where our soul comes from. It comes from the ground. So it then, to allow the soul to penetrate from our soul, the bottom of our feet, creates the electric field, this connection, this electric, which fuels the magnetic field, of the body, which is the heart. And for our soul to be connected to the grounding, earthing, it's linked to the heart. So it's connected to that's why the heart chakra is green, and nature is pretty much a big green bubble.
Yeah.
So to be in contact with the bottom of our feet in nature, grounding, is reconnecting to our soul. And that's where, for me, electricity comes from. It's to have this connection, this kind of physical connection, because magnetic, you don't need to touch. You're a magnetic being. So that means that we don't need to be connected to live. So that's very powerful. It's like we're also magnetic, but the connection to our soul by our soul creates this electric connection, which is the connection, the physical connection. This is the physical connection to our divine mother. That's how I perceive and receive.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That brings me back to, well, it's still here. It's not even coming back. um, yeah, it really is all about magnetics in that way. Thank you for anchoring just the language of the soul and bringing it back to that, and the importance of bringing your feet onto the earth, because that is who we are. And then even more, yeah, put your heart on the earth, lay your whole body on the earth.
Yeah. To be there, you know, and that's where you saw me, you know, digging the earth. I was chopping down like a little mountain here to flatten the ground and to create a new space. And the more that I can be in this, like, to be like in contact with uh with the earth, with my bare feet and hands, and with the rain and the elements, is really understanding these elements, being in contact with them connects you to your soul to the deepest level.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful.
Well, and you
Very
know what's
powerful.
really interesting that I noticed is to come to the element of speaking of like the importance of the spaces that we create, of the Heartkitekture, is creating a space that is nourishing to the soul and to the heart, really ultimately is what it is.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
actually, the last person who I just talked with, I'm not sure whose episode will come out first, but it's my friend I told you about, who she's been living down the hill from you in Dominical, and she teaches an online class called The Art of Letting Go. While you also unknowingly
Yeah.
teach your own version of an experience called The Art of Letting Go every Tuesday. Um, and what I really see uh, is what you're speaking about coming to life in that offering of, you know, you've spent years building different parts of Be Home, and I see your artwork all over it. There's so much love there. Like, you know, the puppies are a reflection of you as well, and the trees and everything that's being taken care of. And then there's this opportunity for people to come in and to receive this this temple where they can connect to their own innate nature as a heartrepreneur. Yeah, and I can really feel what you're speaking into is like that magnetism as the embodied feeling of, or like the literal physics of what inspiration feels like. What does it feel like to be in your artistry? What does it feel like to beautify your life? Because really, you know, we can be really subjective and objective with how we define beauty. To me, it's feeling like, yeah, what brings more inspiration into my life? What makes me feel more safe to create? What brings me into that knowing that I'm the creator and I can create every moment of my life?
Yes. Yes. And beautifying is what is in resonance with nature. So it's everything that's in resonance with nature that is harmonizing. It's you know, it's not really like, oh, you're not using this color or this color. It's really, is it harmonizing?
Mm-hmm.
Harmonizing. It's the real game here. It's harmonizing. The real game
Yeah.
is really to harmonize and to balance things out, and the magnetic and electric, we're able to really utilize both powers. So to consume and to emanate, because the electricity at some point will need to be recharged.
Right.
So the consumption of food and different things is that aspect, and yet we have the ability to emanate from the center point, which is the magnetics. So this is also a part to explore and to see how, you know, the consumption of things and the from where are we seeing ourselves from the creator, from the 0 point gravity, from the center point, or from a follower, which is the electrical necessary neediness of needing to consume more food than we think. So these are the different parts of how to create also as a architect and of architect of things, architect of worlds. It's always to be in that heart space and to create from there and to harmonizing it. And what King Tech is doing and is open to help and to explore with other beings and to teach and to provide for the world is all the different aspects, all the different things that we communicate with on a regular day-to-day base. And when I say communicate with, is we communicate with a table, with a chair, with our fridge, with our kitchen. This is a constant communication, a conversation that's happening in between elements, in between shapes. And so to reframe, to restructure the whole geometry of our day-to-day life through organic, divine, sovereign, enhanced technology and furniture that is shaped in a specific frequency and infused with intention and infused with love, knowing that this element that we are creating with our hands will resonate in the reality and will emanate the magnetic field. So we're giving it magnetic. We're not even giving it, because everything already has a magnetic field, and yet we are enhancing the magnetic field of an object, of a tool that we are using in our constant day-to-day life. So then nothing is taking from us. Nothing is going to be taken from us. And it's like, if we have, let's say, a blender and we're using it and it makes this very astringent noise, and it's giving a certain frequency, it's sending out a specific noise and frequency. So we can make these elements that we are in our day-to-day conversation more harmonious. So then if ever we do utilize these type of tools and on contact with our food, which is sacred as well, then it won't make this really aggressive kind of noise and frequency. It will emanate maybe a frequency of, a healing frequency. So these are things that we can tune. These are machines that we can tune as much as instruments. So this is just everything is a tuning. It's like everything can be shaved off a little bit and to round in some angles and to get a right frequency. If you tap a little here, it needs a bit of shaving, and then it's harmonious. So we can do that with our reality and in our objects and the things that you can be a creator of worlds by just seeing in your reality what is not in resonance with the harmony of life, of creation, basically, of nature. Like this blender I have, I like it. It can go really slow, and yet at some point when it goes high, it's just so distortion. It's just so distorted. It's so it creates so much of almost in my body. So imagine to the food that it's kind of giving out to as well. So it's this harmony that we can do in all these aspects of life, even to the jars, to the cutlery, the forks, the the carpets, the sink, everything
Exactly.
is welcome to a reiteration from a perspective of how I want it to mold to my life, to my being. It's like having something that is bespoke from your specific frequency, from your specific angle of light, of your vision. How do you see the world? What is the uniqueness that you see? And you don't see us using forks. Maybe you create an apparatus that is different. So we live in a world where a lot of it has been imposed on us without us um, really approving it as a child, and also our parents. They probably didn't know as well. They were also innocent into many things. Um, so is reclaiming that sovereignty in things. As
Yeah.
as a coach and guide, what I do is I help people go through reclaiming their ancient royal sovereignty. So it's reclaiming that ancient royal sovereignty of a soul sovereignty by by conquering your sovereign grounds again. And your sovereign grounds are the sovereign grounds of everything that you are, your imagination, your expression, your, your songs, your art. Nobody has a say on these sovereign grounds. These are sovereign grounds to conquer and to reclaim. To reclaim this will open up to so much beauty and abundance and wealth by reclaiming what is already yours.
I love that because I remember when we were talking after that beautiful concert that we saw about the importance of building, of why is it important to be your own architect of your life, and when that comes down to the little things of, for me, how it's been coming is, okay, I'm more conscious about the things that I'm buying, or my materials, like I want them to be natural, and they all speak to me, that I feel they all carry importance. I don't want to carry anything with me that I don't have a relationship with. And then there's the even deeper layer of what you're doing, which is truly creating that. And I remember you said, it's amazing to like have the money to buy the sports car, but did you make the car? And that really is the idea that we're given in this society is, well, why do it yourself when someone else has already done it for you? And
Yeah.
that is a tempting, delicious thing for us that we're given sometimes, is you don't need to do it. Like, it's already been done for you. But
Exactly.
when you said that you're not really even having to conceive these ideas, because there's already a reality where it's all been built. It's because it's already happened in the ancient times. We always were building everything. We were creating every part of our houses and all of our materials. We weren't going to stores and buying them. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the truth that, like, it's a right for us, and it's beautiful to be able to have that capacity to create and to know that that is something that we can do.
Yes. Thank you for mirroring that. And yes, it's we have like I said, you have the money to buy things, and so a lot of people have money, and they buy a lot of beautiful things and expensive things, and yet they have no clue how to do the most mundane thing of sometimes just cooking for themselves, or knowing what materials is good to put together in a house, or so the ideal of to reclaiming this ability of sovereignty is to know that you have the potential to really create everything that you want. And if you're not going to create, all of it, at least to consume or to buy things that are made from a specific tribe. When I say tribe, a specific group of people that are doing it with their hearts and their soul. Because there's a big difference in consuming things that don't have souls, that are not made by souls or for souls. Then it really lacks this magnetic field. And not only that, and most of the time it can diminish the magnetic field like a little bit. So the importance of creating things with the soul and with the intention and with the love, it's a very powerful, I think to live with these beings, to be able to, you see, and to just to take the sovereignty of deciding that this is not fit for you. That to know that you have a claim, you can have a claim on the reality, and to say that this is not adapted for you, and to be able to create the version that you want for yourself. And so the building aspect of that is really, it's really important to know how to make things for yourself. To learn that. And in King Tech we have different parts, and Heartkitekture is just one part. This is one part of the whole recreation of things. And another part will be the cars, what we call cars. And but they're mainly soul vessels. So they're a vessel to move around in as a soul that you are, as much as the Heartkitekture is a soul vessel where your heart can feel cocoon, wound. It's a womb. So what we navigate in is soul vessels. So to even the geometry of these and the energy that is in the material that is made for these soul vessels, these is also a big important role in the whole creation dimensions that we live in, for us to move around in. And it's how deep can you go into the reclaiming the sovereignty of like, ooh, I'm not a fan. You don't need to hate it in order to, you just are able to say yes to a unique frequency that you are, and know that there's an ability for you to tap into everything in your own frequency, to create anything in your own frequency. A whole world in your own frequency. Everything.
And think about how the deep relationship that people already have with their cars, like how much life you live if you have a car, like, or what that's like. And I mean, when I was 6 years old, I was drawing photos of, I was making drawings of hovercrafts, saying, when I'm 16, I'm going to have a hovercraft. So that's where my soul is. That's, that's the magnetics. I'm moving around with magnetics.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for that. I want to ask you a couple final questions, which is, when you catch yourself in a moment out of resonance with heart kinetics,
how do you come back to that center point of the vortex?
So thank you for this question. I recently explored that, and I'm always open to see where I'm at in these realms, and I'm very connected to my soul and to my heart, and to my inner child. Like, I've been watching recently videos of myself in childhood, and I saw how, I mean, we were raised in a different reality, and where this propagandic kind of entities were infiltrating our sacred time with our parents and our homes, in our temples. And I saw how it was this parasitical voice, that it's just has infiltrated our childhood, our families. And so from that, I understand more about myself, and I also have a lot of compassion to sometimes being in another frequency, like getting out of tune, as we can call it. And yet, the way I play guitar and the way I navigate my art comes back to this, because the way I do my art and the way I create my music is a shadow work, is actual spiritual work. It's a spiritual play of how to, in any situation, I'm able to create beauty, because I don't plan so much. I don't do I don't feel like I'm doing much. I allow. So when I start a process, and what happens. And then from there, I'm able to see what wants to appear. So as I do this work, and this how I play the realms of creation in that way, I know that whenever I'm out of tune, or I'm in tune, or I'm out of, heart coherence, I know that I'm just a kind of vortex away, a spin away from unknown beauty. And because I always see what can I extract out of this? How can I learn from this? And how can I also, if there's a situation that's being played out, and I feel like I'm just going in it, and it happened to me recently. It's been we had a intense desire to heal, to do shadow work. And at the full moon eclipse, we had a ceremony. We wanted to have our shadow revealed, and that's what happened. I just, like, intentionally, we did the intention, and that when I was in it, I was like, okay, my inner child is kind of telling me something that I'm not fully understanding, because it comes out of some sort of distress, or this ease at some sort. And so to act it out, and to play out the role, and to see what are the feelings that I'm feeling, and how can I act it out, and to see what I'm acting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, what am I acting out? And I know that, like my art, or the music, even in music, I play, and I'm not afraid to hit a note that is supposedly for some people, out of tune. I don't go by these terms. I just, all the chords, all the sounds are already in the guitar, because the guitar it's holding all of that. So they should have a place for each other, with each other. They all have a space together. So that's how I approach the guitar as well. So then even when it seems to be out of tune from my heart coherence of different things, it's like there's actually a coherence in some way where I can bounce back, or to respin, to have it, where can this is showing me to fold upon myself, look at myself, and then respin from there. And this is how, and then there's also technique of the art itself to have a practice of letting go, of really, I do art not for just, I'm going to make this or a dolphin. It's really a healing process. It's a soul journey every time. It's like really digging for the shadows with the light, and bring it forth, and not compromising, and going into the something that is easy. I go through these process of painting, and it's going through layers and layers, and putting things on, and seeing where it touches, what emotion does it touches, and going through that. Well, ooh, I see something there. Should I, paint over it? Like, ooh, maybe not, maybe no. It's like, why these fears? Who's talking? Who's giving the orders? And so going through this process heals a lot, and is able to harmonize things, to see how much of a flow am I just in a doing phase, or in music. So.
Yeah, you're feeling it all. And it's and all of it is living in resonance with the heart. Even if it feels out of tune, it's still,
exactly.
even if the guitar is out of tune, you're still playing the guitar.
It's still a guitar. It's still on it. It's like it has to, it can harmonize at some point, at some weird way, some magical way. And that's the archetype of being the center. It's like constantly, if you're the center, it's like, okay, everything comes through me. Like if I block someone because I don't, then it's like, well, I'm going to trip the whole thing, because the flow is already going through, everything is supposed to go through there. So then when we're not going through this rule, and by this trait, then there's a blockage of energy, of flow. And that's what's happening with the, with sometimes with, most of the time with the religion, and even with the peace movement. I feel that peace is giving us a fake idea of what wholeness is, because wholeness is actually what we want. We don't really want a piece of things. Like, I heard something last night about someone talking about peace and different things, and I dreamed about a whole bunch of pieces of things. And I was like, oh no, this is not. And I know this magic, these are words magic. These are word magic. And it's wanting to express something with the opposite of the word. Because what we imagine with these words is that we want something whole, but we're actually calling it a part of it. So these are like the little things that in our life, in our reality, that are also responsible for creating things. So if on a constant day you want harmony, or someone wants wholeness and wants unity, is constantly saying, oh, I want a part of it. I just want a part. And so that doesn't really help. It's not going to be as fast. I'm not saying that you won't get there, but it's with the words are wards, or worlds, or swords. And so they have sometimes the ability to cut, and especially if we're using it with no awareness. So it's going back to all these like details of how we can beautify our reality with our words as well, with our words, and this is architecture. Architecture is the everything that comes from the heart, and the heart is the center point. So words come from the heart, art come from the heart, hands, craft come from the heart. So architecture is how to architecture your own life by beautifying all these aspects.
Wow. Thank you so much. I can't believe I never realized that, peace is a piece of things. And
yeah, it's been really like heavy to hear a lot about it. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to finish that, and I'll let you talk.
Yeah,
it's because there's a lot of peacekeepers. And that in my mind, the image that I get every time I listen to that is not what it's supposed to what it's not the desired intention. When I say someone wants to keep a part of something, just things divided, then I mean it creates in the unconscious and the subconscious, it creates kind of a dissonance with someone who wants something and yet is calling something out, something else.
Wow. And even the word intention actually is, I had a sister who revealed this to me, is that you're in the tension of something.
Yes.
So rather you're intending, like you're tending to the garden.
Tending. Yes,
heart.
Exactly.
And
there's many words that are sovereign words, and even in this conversation, I used a couple because I'm like, oh, maybe if I say the word, it won't be perceived, and then I have to explain it, and then I'm just in it, and it's just this constant knowing how to do the bridge, how to be the bridge, and how to love, self-love, be the center. The center has all the words, has all the sounds, has all the languages, so it's to become the sovereign of that, to be become the center point of this, where everything exists. So I'm reclaiming, all these words until I can reframe them into something, that it more accurate, that is more relevant, that is describing more something. And that's really a powerful task at hand, because all the English language is backwards. So this is a whole part of the magic.
Yeah. Well, and today, my partner was revealing to me the difference between awful and awesome. And that we say something is awesome, like it's great, but you just want some of the awe. Like you only want a little bit, but when it's awful, like it's full of awe. This feeling of, or this concept of receiving the whole, this is really what the bliss realm is about. Like
insane. Oh, you're insane, but it actually means you're in the sane. You're in the sane part. And yet when you say it, it's to say the opposite. So,
yeah. And, I've been through my own phases. I think this is every being's journey that we go through, especially when you first awaken. It's like, oh my God, the world is so terrible. We need to fix it. And then, now everything's amazing and beautiful, but it's, it's not just one or the other. And like, to create from the center of that vortex is to be in the wholeness, like you said. I have curiosity around whole and whole, because like WHOLE and HOLE, you just how that contains everything and nothing as well.
Yeah. The whole, for me, I go by this, because if I see in my mind peace parts, so then already I know that it's, and then I say whole is a hole in the ground, is a circle a circle is unity, is a whole piece. So if it goes back to the circle, it's more likely to be a form of unity. If it goes back to sharp angles, squarish, then it's more division. So then a piece is always cut. So then that's how I kind of like, okay, and so it's all, sovereignty is all about putting all the words out, all the worlds out of the consciousness, and then reintegrating everything with a filter of sovereignty, with the filter of divinescence, of like, you are the god of this realm, the king, the queen, the goddess, and you will bring back forth only what is serving you. And
Yes.
it's it's a whole journey to go through. If you want to go on this journey, or anybody wants to go on this journey, it's fun and also scary. And it's, just that in itself will shift your whole perspective on things, especially if you actually do some sort of work or some sort of information, seeing what is the ultimate good and ultimate non-necessary. So then putting everything out and then bringing them back in, of like, okay, who are you? Where does this come from? Like saying, for example, it can go back to, the days of the week, and be like, who is giving us that? Who's giving us that? Why are we choosing to go by this? What are the holy days that we are, sharing and worshipping? So all this, it's putting this back and then putting it out and then putting it back and being like, well, today, what does it feel like? Because even I'm tuning in to not calling them days anymore, but calling them light cycles.
Yeah.
Because a days is something that's foggy, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we have the weak days. We don't have strong days. So I'm calling, different. This is also something that Savan talks about, he says, the strong part, the strong, it's not a weak, so he calls it a strong. So I was like, oh, this is nice. So strong it is, of course.
Yes.
I'm not doing weak things. I'm not a weak being. I do strong things and purposeful things. So soul
and
things.
maybe you've tapped into this already, but I'm just about to go to Tikal next week to visit the ancient pyramids of the Mayans, and this is something that my partner and I have been talking a lot about, is like the concept of time, and how the Mayans have a completely different time that they live in, and it really is. It feels like this architecture from the center point of the heart in a lot of ways. And I'm very new to it, but I'm excited to bring back when I learn about it.
Yes, beautiful. I'm very excited for you. We recently came back from Tulum and from Mayan temples, and we are bringing a group also in Mexico to do all the Riviera Maya and to do ceremonies in these temples, and with our group Quantum Creators. Yes. So I'm very excited to like see that this is like we're tuning into something,
And when will that be again? Is it February?
So no, we changed the date. So we changed it to next year. So but before that, we will have we will bring people to do the same type, but more refined to nature. That is going to be in Costa Rica. So it's going to be full on, reclaiming your sovereignty, your soul sovereignty, ancient royal sovereignty, with the deep connection to Pachamama, to this earth, and to really go through this land and go see the ancient trees and beautiful waterfalls and to give prayers and to do sacred ceremonies in different parts and to do magical things and music and expressing and learning how to be this ancient royal self, sovereignty self. So yeah, and this I'm very excited for you to go to Tikal and we were very excited to do this journey as well, but it's going to be next year. I'm very excited to do it, and I really feel the time frame thing is something that we are unlocking, because there's no real time as we think we know it, because the watch are man-made and
it's watching
and it's watching and it's watching, and it's, you know, it's a clock and it's a lock. So it locks you in. That's what it does, you know. It's a clock is a lock. It locks you into a cycle, into like a loop. It's a loop because it just like, it's a 2D plane. If you see a watch, it's just 2D, right? But time is not 2D. It's not, you know, it's not looping, but it locks people into a loop. It's kind of a fake version of what a vortex is.
Wow.
So it's a fake version of a vortex. So then instead of constantly rebirthing yourself through the vortex, up and down, then you get watched by being in a loop. You're locked in. And these temples they are still in resonance. They're still in resonance to a certain aspect of creation, of our reality. And the way we experience time is really how we decide to tune in, to allow again to be given a time frame, to not be sovereign in the time that we live in a sense. Because if someone awakes from sleep and feels like, oh, he needs to do things, he needs to go to work, or especially in, let's say, the Matrix, because I won't maybe give example of where I am, because the time frame here is not, like I said, it's not like it's found in many places in the world, because it's
Tico time.
It's not only Tico, but it's pure. There's an allowance of nature here.
Yeah.
And if you're able to create your own time reality, then you can live in it, your time bubble. And so the way we see time is through doing things. Is this face perception that you have to do something, that something needs to be done, and making a loop out of something that is infinite, because we are in a never-ending moment of now, and yet we feel like there's a past and there's a before and there's an after, because there's, you know, numbers and dates, and we were told how to relate to numbers, and numbers have souls, and numbers are living entities. And so if we start to enslave numbers by saying, okay, this is this and this is, when something is never unfolding and it's never the same twice, then what is reality? And so this mind calendars and these Mayan temples, they show us how this is, it's basically how creative can you be and how intelligent then do you receive the codes of nature of knowing how to detect where you are and what is actually around. Because the watch system, the 1 to 12 o'clock, and then these months that we're in, which are not even put in the right order, it doesn't even mean, the things that we mean and know what it means. It's even certain names of certain gods, fake gods actually. And so it's like, what are we, participating in? It's like fragments of fake lies and fake gods. And it's just, wow, this is the time frame. This is the reality that these gods are creating for ourselves, because we also talk about time as chronos, as a chronometer. Like it's chronos is actually Saturn. And so it seems like we're in a Saturn's world. And so as soon as you step out of the square into the circle, well, now time doesn't, almost doesn't exist. Because it's a different rhythm. It's not about time. It's about heat and cold and wet and dry. It's not about what time it is. Here in Costa Rica, there's a dry season and wet season. What? There's this, there's a season where it rains and then it doesn't rain so much. So this is where we go by. So to recalibrate every kind of space in this reality can have their own time frame. Mm-hmm. And to put everything on the same time is almost how to sneak on someone, how to control them, how to, have a vision into what they do, because you know that they're gonna obey by certain clock frames. They'll be certain place at certain times on certain days. So the more you connect to your soul and go into nature by your soul, by taking your shoes off, then you can also see how time really works. You stand with a tree. The tree is not going to be like, oh, I need to go, I need to do this, or or birds, and they're really just being. They're just being in the never ending now, and it's really beautiful. They have their own time. They do something, and then they sleep, and then they eat, and they're on a cycle that is internal. Nobody have to tell them what to do. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. You need to eat. Oh, it's this. You need to. Did you check the time? And they don't have that. They don't have that. They're very sovereign in their way, and it's a soul sovereignty. It's innate. It's within them. Yeah. It's like the bird
doesn't know. The bird doesn't even know what the air is, or doesn't think about it. It just flies through it.
It just flies through it. Yeah. It's just like, what are you talking about? You can't fly. What are you talking about? No, I'm in it. Wait, what are you talking?
Wow. I feel like I want to do another episode with you where we just like fully go into time, because I have so many experiences of time travel and just like altered perception of time that, this conversation is really bringing me into a new way of being with it. And also just, just remembrance after remembrance. I feel we could dive really deep into that.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I thank you for sharing a little bit earlier about like quantum creators and your retreats coming up. Like, I know we're so resonant about both feeling this this call to taking people to sacred sites around the world and activating them into their sovereignty there, and really like realigning with the time of Earth, with the Earth's speed and with the being. I do feel us at time. So I want to ask how people can find you. I mean, yeah, we're not, yeah, right? There's not even
Yeah.
time, but it's,
Yeah.
I just,
It's funny, huh?
I
It's funny
feel,
how our relationship to this thing is like, there's no time. Oh, wait. Okay, let's go.
yeah, you catch it in the next moment. I'm like, I could stay here all,
For sure.
what are you calling your days now? It's not a day. It's
A light. It's a light. It's a light. I call it light or a light cycle. It's a light
yeah,
because that's when the light comes on. Like
I,
I don't want to be in the days and foggy and yeah.
mm, yes. And that's so key. I could stay here all night. And I also want to eat
Yes.
soon.
Mm,
And so I'll be present to that unfolding of
yes.
the ever unfolding now. And yeah, I want to ask what else, what last things you want to share for this now moment, as well as how we can get in touch with you, anything else that you feel that is coming from the center of your heart vortex.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was beautiful, beautiful conversation. Co-creation of realities. We are weaving realities, and this is what we do with quantum creators. We are creators of realities and teaching how to connect to your soul and to connect to that quantumness of things, that divine spark of uniqueness that you are. And we help you go through your unfolding process and be there to to elevate the whole consciousness of this reality. Everyone is a full God creator. And so awakening to that, self exploration. And we do it as a group, as a team. And there's a whole family, there's a whole tribe. We also, I personally do coaching and guidance for reclaiming sovereignty and really tapping into the most creative part. So if there's any kind of creation blockages of expression, how to really tune into your new style, your rebirthing, and knowing how to rebirth. I'm basically teaching phoenixes how to rebirth from their ashes. So everyone I believe are phoenixes and royal sovereigns, and we are here to reactivate and to recalibrate,
Yes.
and to sharing that and being that and bring this frequency and sharing it to the realms, to all the different dimensions. So we do this. You can get in touch with me on my Instagram, which is i.m.helios. And I also have links to my YouTube, to Quantum Creator website. I have also my personal website that's linked to get in touch with Heartrepreneurs as well. We are constantly creating experiences and journeys to enhance the artist, the being, the soul that you are, and to enhance the experience that we're in as a collective. So to team up into all the heart warriors, because we're not warriors, we're warriors. And so we listen and we create from the heart.
Oh,
Yes.
that one got me. We're warriors.
Yes. We don't want to war anything. I don't want to worship. I don't worship people. I don't have a ship to go to war. I have a ship to sail and to make beauty, or to witness and to, co-create.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Helios, for
Yeah. Thank you so much, Skylar, for being such a pillar of light in this realm, in this world.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being centered and being this force of creation to create beauty. everywhere you go to be conscious of how you're building worlds with your words and how you spread that through everything. Through this conversation, I've been writing down a bunch of notes of just things I'm inspired by, and then this drawing started coming out. So I've been having this. Beautiful. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I've had this drawing that came forward that's like about the vortex, really, which is kind of what all of my drawings always come to, as the toroidal field. Yeah, so thank you for inspiring me. I am so excited to share this with the world. And I can't wait to see you sometime soon. I feel us like we're definitely going to be creating some kind of something together.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally have trust in that, as we are connected, many families. So, yes. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you for being who you are, for bringing all your messages of love and light to the realms.
Thank you. And wholeness and all of it.
And wholeness, all of it. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation, because I look forward to things. So this is a shift and also words that, stop the flow. I'm looking forward.
Yes, I'm looking forward as well.
Instead of a can't wait, there's a can't there. And so we want to look forward into the future, into the never ending now.
I look forward to, and I fully appreciate and embrace this here now moment that we have. And I thank you, and thank you all for listening today to...
Gracias, familia.
So mucho amor, familia, to this...
Mucho. Pura vida. Pura vida.
I hope you feel yourself in some of this timelessness, and that you get to maybe question how you're creating your inner worlds and how that creates your outer worlds, and just all of the things in between. And yeah, let us know how you feel by commenting on this episode. Get in touch with Helios. Yeah, I think that's it. I want to just send us off with so much love and gratitude.
So much love. So much gratitude. So much.
No. All right. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
So if you like the show, be sure to follow this page and give the show a 5-star rating, or whatever kind of rating you like, to show some support. Share about it on your socials. Spread the word so that we can continue to share this message with love. Blessings.